Yo, 935 KDAY Hip Hop back in the day. My name is Noah Ayala. Right now we have a pioneer, a legend in the building. He goes by many names, many aliases. You may know him as Papa Large. You also may know him as Dr. Octagon. One of my favorites, Sex Style.
Yeah.
But all around the world, he is known as Kool Keith. Welcome to KDAY, man.
Oh, yeah, man. It's cool to be here. This is the station of L.A., one of the main stations.
Yup. So it's not every day like we have like a pioneer. I really mean that word in every sense of the word of this hip hop culture in the building. So the first thing I feel like we have to do is like, I really need to know where it started. When did you come in the game? It was like 87, 88?
I came in 88 with me wanting to be a solo artist, and then I met Sed in high school, and then, his brother was a singer. They had a group set up like, when Mint Condition and Jodeci and all them Troop and all those groups was coming out. He was going to come out with an album first, but then Sed's brother, said, I want to get y'all some equipment and stuff like that. And, we all just came under Pat. Sed's brother was a singer. Then I went to school with Sed, so then I named the group Ultramagnetic.
So that was all you on the name.
And then Sed started producing beats after he got an SP12. Then he started doing beats for Scott LaRock and KRS, and from then on, we became Ultramagnetic, and then Boogie Down Productions came out. So it was a lot of things coming through Sed's house. It was called Mastermind Productions. So, originally KRS was like under a group with us called Celebrity 3.
Damn.
Yeah.
So wait, when was this? We talking 87 still?
This was like a little bit earlier, before they had got the deals and stuff. Like, this was like the root part of it.
Now, did you know back then that KRS was gonna be that dude? Like,
nah, it was weird. It was just, like it was, we was all under one Bronx production, like back then, so we didn't even know. Everybody was just making records, not knowing we was making records, not even knowing what our name was. We didn't even know it was gonna be Ultramagnetic. We didn't even know it was gonna be Boogie Down Productions or something.
Right. Now, when you dropped Ego Trippin', and you come in the game with the Ultramagnetic MCs, you had to be one of the first to really like come up with that at the time, that new sound, right? Because back then, if I'm wrong, it was like Run DMC, it was Houdini, it was
yeah. Well, I definitely opened up the doors, because it was like, with rhyming, we had to take rhyming to another scheme, because everybody was, like you said, had a different, it was more of a party theme of like, throw your hands in the air and wave them, like, so a lot of people was just doing that. So we had to take it to more wordplay, and then like the Treacherous 3, I think, was the last ending of word talking, and then that blended into, that started the whole scenario of wordplay came in. After the end of them was like the beginning of us, like, Houdini and them was more like singers and stuff,
right?
And
they're all shiny, and I love. Well,
they was like more like, freaks come out at night, So we came more like when the words started coming in, when rhyming, and then Rakim, and then the words started coming, and then like all the groups was back then was like T-La Rock, all the words, everybody had the pronunciation, occupation, sensation, motivation, everybody had the biggest words in the world and stuff like that. So
I gotta ask you this. We're talking about Ego Trippin'. Why'd you go in on Run DMC like that?
Well, I didn't really, I see Daryl Mack to this day. It was like, I just used it to open up a record then. And
it was a cold way to open up a record.
Like DMC is a greatest friend, greatest friends to this day. I seen him say, "Yo, I love that record." But I just used like the Run DMC Peter Piper pick, Then I said,
"You caught him nursery rhymes."
Yeah. So we was just like using that to introduce. We're gonna change the rhyme scheme to a more complex style. So, I was a big fan of Run DMC anyway. I loved it, all the, Tougher Than Leather and all that, those records were big. So, we just use that to say we changing, not a big diss. We just gonna take it and just transfer it.
You gotta let people know, it's new generation about to come in.
We're gonna transfer it into a big rhyme scheme now.
Yup. And you guys, Rakim, De La, that's a golden era.
T-La Rock, who else? Mantronics was making beats then, and so all the rappers that came out was high tech,
Mm-hmm.
Everybody had the high tech lyrics, the big words, and
yeah. Where were you getting all these big words from? Like, did you have
we used to read
Thoris back in the day?
No, we read. I was into a lot of space shows and stuff like that, and anything sci-fi and big words. We was putting them on soulful beats like Substitution and stuff. So, Ego Tripping. It was weird when we did Ego Tripping. Rakim had I think Check Out My Melody was hot on the street, and that was I Got Soul.
Oh,
and
okay.
Then we was like that's when Ego Tripping was coming out, and I said we're not gonna bite nobody else's style. A lot of people had their own styles back then. Kane had his own style. We had our own. Every rapper was original. As like now, everybody got the same cadence together. They don't have a distinctive style.
It's like just whoever's hot, we're gonna make a million videos like that. Then it's a new style.
Yeah, but you can tell a different rapper back then by the voice.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't sound like nobody else.
I did not know this about you, and a homie told me this. I was like, I'm about to interview Kool Keith. Like, do you know anything? I didn't know you almost signed with Diddy back in the day.
Puffy was interested in me when I had
what year? It's like Shiny Suit era?
He was doing that. He was doing the stuff with Mace. What happened? No, yeah, he was.
So it's gonna be Kool Keith in a shiny suit?
Well, Puffy used to be with MCA. I was managed by Uptown Management. Andre Harrell was managing. That was man, and Heavy D's, Finesse Sequence, and who else they had? Jeff Red and Jodeci. So we were managed by them, and then when I was trying to go solo, I saw Puffy in New York one time, and he was driving a Volkswagen Rabbit at that time. It was
Rabbit.
Yeah. Puffy was like, he was an intern, and then he was always a good person, and then he was like, Keith, I want to sign you. So what happened was, he said, but wait a minute, I'm gonna get a situation. And he had no label or nothing. Then he said, I'm gonna have some stuff getting ready to be on the table. And as soon as I moved to LA, that's when Biggie and Craig Mack came out. It was that's when Bad Boy came out. But when I had so he calls me later on after that, I got to LA. Jeremy says, Puffy wants to talk to you. So I'll get he tells me, yeah, man. So what happened was I got stuck in my Columbia contract. I couldn't get out of the Columbia deal with Black Elvis.
And Columbia wanted some money because it was Diddy, huh?
Yeah.
But Diddy wasn't really balling like that back then.
I didn't even mention the Columbia. They must have knew something was strange, but they kind of, the legal department took a long time stalling. They was holding the album to a release date. So I was trying to get off. And, well, he had an idea of me doing I think it was going to be a group like me, Busta Rhymes, and somebody else. It was
cold.
It was like a whole. So he was like, yeah, whatever it takes to get the paperwork done and stuff. He was real serious about it. But Columbia was like being like, such, ridiculous about it. So we just moved on because the deal got too stagnated, and then they finally put Black Elvis out. But that was the situation right there. But he did tell me that from the beginning when he was gonna do the label thing. But that was like couple months before, 6-7 months before. He said, I'm getting ready to start a label, and that was the Bad Boy thing.
That would have been crazy. I don't know what it would have sounded like.
Yeah, and it was funny,
that
too.
That would have been crazy.
And all that transition was going on, basically, I think it was a lot going on, too. It was like, the Biggie and Tupac stuff was going on.
So we're still trying to find a sound and where music was going to go.
Yeah, so, no, it was like kind of difficult to probably discuss that kind of deal because that stuff was going on when he was talking to me about doing the album. So I was like, I guess that's gonna
he was preoccupied,
kind of diminish all the thoughts, and plus it was too much going on back then. It was like that Biggie and Tupac stuff was going on, and then I was like in the middle, like
now because
still negotiating.
I know you have like a lot of Cali roots. Were you in Cali already at the time that went down with Pac and Biggie?
I was in California.
So you kind of saw everything firsthand.
Yeah.
What was it like from your perspective?
It's funny though. I seen Tupac up at Chin Chin's. I seen Tupac up at Chin Chin sitting, with Suge Knight, and he's cool. And I seen him up there, and then
that's Diddy calling right now.
I seen him up there, and then I go in a club one night on Santa Monica. It was like a low key spot, and I see Biggie in the back. I'm like, wow, Biggie Smalls out here, like, and it was a time that I wouldn't expect to see him out here. I was like, wow, Biggie's out here in this, on the media, with all the beef and stuff. And I'm like, I seen Biggie at it was like a little low key club on like Santa Monica and like up in La Cienega somewhere, like down on. So he sees me in the back. He's like, how he breathes heavy, like, yo, kid, what's up? Oh, and it surprised me. He's like, yo, I love that sex style.
Biggie knew what was up.
That's my favorite album. So I was like, wow, and it was like he was on just in the back chilling. Mm-hmm. But I was surprised, with all the stuff going on in the media. They both was out here chilling, like,
right.
I seen both of them in different places.
Damn, that's crazy. How? Because I know you have these long-standing Cali roots. How did you even come out here in the first place?
Well, I came out here. I wanted to do my solo album, and I went to Gavin Convention.
What album we talking about?
Just my solo album in general.
Okay.
Which became Sex Down.
Okay.
So I went up to Gavin, and I saw L.O. Malik and L.O. and Malik. And I went up there, and they said, yo, we want to sign you. And then they said, Capitol is interested in you. And it was back then, when I was in New York, people wasn't giving me no beats or tracks and nothing like that. Everybody was like, it was about who you were signed with before you get beats.
Yeah.
Remember when the producers were like, you got a deal? I got some beats for you, son. No, so nobody was giving me beats. And then I came out to L.A., met with Gary Gertz. They did the deal. Move in advance, live in advance, over damn, it was like the deal was almost like $1 million. So what happened was,
you don't cut checks like that no more.
Yeah. So what happened was I moved to Beverly Hills, and then me and Kurt started working on Sex Styles.
Talk about Cutmaster Kurt?
Yeah. So Sex Styles ended up on the shelf. They gave me the album back, still gave me the money. But nah.
How did you pull that off?
They were generous in general because they was like,
you have dirt on somebody at Capitol.
What happened was they didn't probably know a marketing plan because Capitol was just getting a new staff but it was fun though. They let me do what I want to do, so they gave me the album back and that was cool. So but Sex Style still came out independent and did good. So that was good. Then
one of the greatest covers of all time, by the way.
Yeah, I did the cover and everything. The cover went on by storm as one of the best covers in different books around Europe and all over international. So I did that album. That's spent me into Black Elvis with Columbia with Tim Devine. I signed that. Then I went up to Conshohocken. That's when the Puffy stuff, when we was doing that album, that was like 90s or something like that. But Black Elvis became big too. I toured that, and then during the course of Black Elvis, I worked on one record with Menelik, and we was just messing around in the house, and it was around the time, it was like in the between a little bit of Black Elvis and Sex Style. It was Dr. Octagon, one track. Me and Menelik rapped on. And Kurt let Automator hear it. And Automator said, yo, I want to do this album. I just want Keith to do a whole 14 cuts of this stuff. And I went up to San Francisco, bought some donuts and some Yoo-Hoos. And I went up in the attic, and Automator had all the beats ready. in about 4 or 5 days, 4 days, about 3 days, I wrote on the spot. I wrote the album in like 3 days with some donuts, and the album came out incredible.
Damn, and then it was like...
Became the biggest thing.
That's what I'm about to say.
Because that was the critical time of people, everybody, the magazines and the press was like, Keith fell off lyrically,
right.
And a lot of people was coming into places that were, groups that they said, I was reading magazine issues of people saying, oh, this dude is Keith in his prime, and everybody was me in my prime, and all this is a new Kool Keith out. I'm reading books, because that's kind of haunting when you read some new rapper
right.
that's supposed to be you and better than you. So I was like, let me get my let me get on this Octagon.
And then
when I got on Octagon, hold up. When I got on Octagon, like I lost the throne of all the boom bap and all the people and the lyricist people and all the top rappers that was rapping lyrical, and so-called all of the circle of who they put in. Even me and MF Doom became good friends of doing records.
I was gonna say, like,
even him, they had him like on a pedestal higher, but
right.
Me and him became the best of friends and stuff. But
and that's like,
but even other rappers out of the realm of him, just all new rappers that was supposed to be, king of different type of things and lyrical, all kinds of coming up with new ideas. The Octagon put me back on the map for a good reason, like for all the critics, the magazines and everybody. So that album took off. Everybody came back, like everybody from, Menelik got a deal with Murdoch with that label.
Oh, the Gorillas and all that.
You said High and Mighty? No. What was that album that Most Definite was on? Rockers. Yep. So we were like running all that stuff. It was like, all the rappers that was on that label, like we was running, like I was the first one that Menelik spent off into a deal with Raucus, and like he was like the spokesman of Raucus, as a lyricist. Sir Menelik was like my partner on the Octagon on maybe 2 or 3 songs, but we had got that credibility back that we lost. So
right.
all the so-called, that kind of rap, and Octagon was in his own world. So we took back those title rings.
So speaking of Dr. Octagon, though, what does the Dr. Octagon album in 2018 sound like now? We got a new Dr. Octagon album on the way.
Dr. Octagon album right now is really good. We got some great out. It's definitely another classic. Me and Automator and Cuba together again. A lot of great tracks and challenging lyrics again. Shout
out Qbert too, man. As a DJ, like Qbert he's one of my idols growing up. So
the album went good. The album did a great thing. That album was a great inspiration. It was real good. Working with Automator again. I mean, me and him always come up with something that's totally different. So, like you said, that album, the Octagon album, the first album, Blue Flowers and Earth People, the reviews of that album got, that album was the boom bap crowd, the hip hop crowd, the rock crowd, the crossover, the new wave kids, drum and bass. We never made an album that crossed into so many genres.
I'm glad that you said drum and bass, though.
One album that crossed into all genres of music. So that album really put me on the map as a supreme rock star. No longer like a rapper. It just took me into another.
Some global.
Another status on my career.
You said drum and bass right now.
Yeah.
One of my favorite songs in high school, and you can never release this song now. And for the record, I'm #MeToo. This is the name of the song. Smack My Bitch Up by the Prodigy.
Oh, yeah. Well, Prodigy was a band, they sold 3 million records with that single. So
song was huge.
It was a huge song, international, worldwide. I think they was on Madonna's label, Maverick. It was, They Call Me. but they sampled it from.
I was gonna say, so they sampled you and hit you after.
With them. Oh yeah, that was very good. I met them. I did a show with them a couple times. It was just a big project, and those guys make an album maybe like once every 4 years or something. You know.
I know that has to be a nice publishing check.
Oh yeah, I loved it. The Prodigy thing was good. It was a lot of good thing. You know, I had a lot of good, you know, sample voice. You know, even with the Nas album. You know, one of those tracks on his album. You know, a lot of different albums. I got paid off. You know, my voice was the most sampled around the world because I go to Europe and hear my voice on a lot of records.
Yeah.
You know,
you got that voice. You got one of those distinctive hip hop voices. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's one thing I was always felt good about being non-duplicated because a lot of rappers, you hear their voice duplicated. I mean, 99% of everybody's voice has been like another person that sound like them. Like 90%.
Oh yeah.
Like me, I think I'm the only person that. I think me and Shan is probably the only person that didn't have a duplicated voice.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this about the new Dr. Doom. Do you have a release date already, or you still working on it?
Next month, the Dr. Doom, the first single, the Moose Bumps thing, and all that is coming out. But they got the album coming out right following that, so all that stuff is coming out.
So get ready, Dr. Octagon's back.
Yeah, and that they got requests to do a lot of brand new things and shows, and because basically we never toured for that first album. Never ever toured. So
and that'd be a crazy
show. It's basically a new tour for both albums. And the first album was people just came out to see the first album. That was timeless.
Damn.
Timeless album made.
Well, hey man, thank you for giving us your time. Like I feel like there's so much more questions I want to ask you about.
It's good to share, all these experiences,
Yeah. And I think it's dope now because it's like we gotta start documenting some of this because this is like. This hip-hop thing turned out to be pretty big, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's good that I opened a lot of doors for a lot of musicians to try to do different things because rap only had one area to go to. Everybody had one lane. So me, I think when I did that album, I opened a lot of doors for a lot of rappers to feel that they can be flexible musically and stuff like that. And people don't got to be scared and afraid to be,
just one type
come
of
up
way
with an idea.
Yeah.
So that's what I did a lot, that's what I'm going to honor myself about, But I don't really care when people come out with something different and try to, if it's a copy. Because when that came out, a lot of people was trying to duplicate the sounds and do records like that. And they would give me tracks, I even in tracks. I mean, I respect Automator for the sound that he does, but I don't respect another producer trying to make the sound like and give me the sound that they think he did. And that's what I come to realize when I'm getting music and beats. I like to pick out beats myself, whereas I pick the beats in this kind of like, I like a beat that's not, because sometimes people make a beat for you, they want to try to touch something you did before. Like, I got this
sounds
beat.
like you would sound
Oh,
good
this
on
is something ultra. I got something that it sounds just like ultra or something. This one is almost like critical beat down.
You can't go back and do that no more.
I don't want to repeat that type of record. So I like beats that is really not made for me. Like if it was a beat that you would have gave Rick Ross, or it's a beat that you would have made for Lady Gaga. Let me pick out the beat that, let me pick out
that touches
the batch
you, that
of beats
you,
that don't.
You.
It could have been a beat for anybody. It could have been anybody that picked that beat. I don't want to be like this beat was customly made to sound. Okay, this is something from. I got you with this track that sound like something you did before. This is y'all should do this again. I don't like beats like that. I like to pick out something that nobody think I would rap on. That's why I say a lot of things is about beat picking.
Right.
Beat picking is an art too. You gotta, a lot of people pick bad beats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like you got to know what production to pick that fits your voice too.
Yeah, a lot of people pick bad beats. They just pick beats that don't fit them. It's too melodic. It's too much going on, and beat picking is an art. So you got a lot of rappers that are good, but they pick a lot of bad beats and stuff, which I've been good at for years. Is picking beats. Some people pick the worst beats.
Oh yeah, I can say a couple names. I'm not gonna say no names though.
Yeah,
you gotta A&R these cats, man.
A lot of people pick bad beats. I mean, there's a lot of good artists too that pick bad beats, and like you said, it messed them up for a long time. That I hate to hear good voice and lyrics be wasted on beats. A lot of these guys pick some real bad beats.
Is there anybody you want to name that you think picks some bad beats? I'll name somebody if you name somebody.
Let me see. I think. It's a lot of people that pick bad beats. I'm trying to think. Let me see who pick bad beats. Jay-Z picks some beats that are good, but sometimes I think I could hear him on something a little more like kind of real mean on some of them. Like he has great lyrics, and then Nas, I mean, I heard a lot of his albums. He picks.
See, I was gonna say, and I'm sorry, I love you, Nas. I love you, Nas.
I'm an A&R. I'm a
some of those beats Nas was picking.
I think Nas is a great rapper, but he picks some of the worst beats.
Man,
he's like, I mean, I've felt bad sometimes, like he wasted some good vocals over some good beats. I'm being honest.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
If I was an A&R, I'd be like, it's a lot of people. I mean, it's so many that sometimes I feel like, damn, that was a bad beat pick. Like,
you got to open up the Kool Keith
and some
A&R school of beat picking.
Some people pick some bad beats. I mean, it's a lot of people that pick some bad beats. I mean,
so who do you think? Because I actually think Jay-Z, especially in the earlier part of his career, chose amazing beats. That was one of the things I loved about him.
His
production.
Earlier stuff, he chose some good beats, and then
I think in his latter part of his career, though, he
chose like.
All right, let me ask you this, and this is what we're gonna wrap it up on. Who had worse beats, Jay-Z in his latter part of his career, or Nas in like the middle of his career?
I think Nas picked when he was working with Pete Rock and stuff. All that stuff was good. Like, then later down the line, the beat picking got like.
You're talking like third or fourth album?
Yeah, like
Nostradamus, huh?
Yeah, well, a lot of the beats after that was like, you saying okay, but some people, I just hate to see a good lyricist pick bad beats, and that goes around the industry too. It's a lot more that pick bad beats. We're just talking at the known bad beat pickers.
Right.
But it's more that pick.
Oh yeah,
bad
they're out
beats.
here. They're all among us.
Yeah,
it's an infestation out here.
There's a lot of bad
beat pickers everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, hey, again, man, thank you, man. Yeah. We appreciate it. You're welcome anytime, brother.
Of course, that's what I say. I'm glad that I'm here and suggesting my A&R and I'm making beats. If you want some beats, and we sit down and the emotions of beats and feel them, And then another thing
I'm having Nas holler at you.
Another thing too is beat makers is different too. Beat distributors, because sometimes a lot of artists live in different conditions.
Right.
So you can't get off the plane from New York, and then somebody in San Diego is making you a beat because they don't know how you feel.
Exactly.
So you get in.
When I went to New York, I was like, okay, I understand boom bap a lot more now.
Yeah, because some people make beats according to how they feel. You might be, I got a lot of money, so I'm gonna make some sweet, happy beats. You might have another dude in a different kind of environment and condition. His lyric content is a little more stealth of where he came from, so the beats don't match.
Right.
So you got that's why a lot of people get mad at, when you request beats, but the producer is mad because the beats sometimes got to match your environment. It's like a soundtrack. That's why when you listen to James Brown, when he did Black Caesar, for Black Caesar, he did the whole soundtrack. Now you hear a soundtrack, it don't match the movie.
Whole bunch of different producers.
Yeah.
Well, I can't front though. I think Kendrick just did a really good job.
When Superfly came out, remember?
Curtis Mayfield.
That whole soundtrack matched the scenes in the movie. That's the way a lot of rappers are. Is the scene, the movie. When you writing a movie, the beats should match. Because I'm a listener.
Right.
I listen to everybody's music, all rappers. I'm saying everybody, and sometimes I'd be like, damn, I wish she had a better background behind that what he was talking about. But
because the lyrics gonna hit you that much more.
But it's all about the producer, and some people get souped up. They're a good producer. They be like, but you gotta take anything I give you. Let me give you my garbage.
Nah, I want to choose.
Because I'm number one right now. I'm a hot producer.
Send me that beat tape.
That's one thing about these producers. They think because they're hot, you gotta take their garbage.
Yep.
Be like, you're a hot producer, but it's garbage. But
you still need to produce.
But you done made your trademark so thorough that he got to take it. Because, you got to take my garbage because I'm hot right now.
That's what's up. Well, hey, everybody. Kool Keith.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
935 KDAY, hip-hop back in the day.